Now, we're not saying you have to go around with a clipboard saying, yes, we're going to go here, here, here and here, because that's not what you want to do on holiday. Back in the UK, no longer in Thailand. We had an amazing time, and what I wanted to do was pull some information together just regarding some money saving tips while you're over there on holiday. Now, I'm looking at this from purely a holiday perspective, so we're not going to be staying for long periods of time. We're not hiring condos, etc, etc. This is purely for someone that's planning on visiting or has visited, you know, with regards to a 3-week stay, 2-week stay, whatever it might be, and maybe some tips that will help you, you know, with regards to save a few pounds with your travel, with your accommodation, with your bookings, etc. So this is what this is going to hopefully help you with. We've got about 5 points in total, and yeah, we're just going to cover off some elements that might save you time and money while you're over in Thailand. So let's take a look. So point number 1 I'm going to cover off is physically booking your holiday, your package, your flights, your hotel. So there's many ways you can do this. You can book your flights separately. You can book flights and a package. You can book flights, package and a hotel. And we've done a mixture of this over our last 2 trips. So what I'm going to just talk you through is what we actually found the most cost-effective way to book, the most easy way to book, and then what that experience was like when we actually travelled. So on our first trip, we booked a full package through Travel Republic, which included our flights, included our hotels, included our transfers, and we booked that with, like I say, Travel Republic, and it was flying with Eva Air. We stayed in the Hard Rock Hotel in Pattaya, which was a fabulous hotel, absolutely great. And we booked that for the entire period of our stay, which was 17 nights. Now, the plan was we would book it and maybe move around and do a night here, night there, and just use that as a base. But effectively, what we did, we booked that holiday, we booked that specific hotel, and we did not utilize it as much as we would have because of wanting to travel around. So say, for example, we spent 3 nights on Koh Samet. We were still paying for the hotel, obviously, in Pattaya, the Hard Rock, but then on top of that, we were paying for the 3 nights extra. Now, don't get me wrong, the cost is not massive, but if you're doing that quite often, it will mount up. So say, for example, £50–60 a night on Koh Samet, 3 nights, you can do the working out and how much that's going to have an impact on your accommodation costs while you're over there. So with regards to the most recent trip, what we did was we didn't book a package. What we did was we tried to separate the elements and book them all individually. Skyscanner was really helpful. What it allowed us to do was to pick our specific times that we would be able to travel because we were finishing work and then obviously commuting to the airport. It gave us the option of our seats, it gave us the option on our class, it gave us the options on the dates, and then it will just search for you what's available. You can put direct flights in, you can put layovers, whatever works for you. Obviously, the price will change depending on if it's a direct, if it's a layover, the class of the seat that you're going to be sitting in. But we found this time doing that, we managed to get a really good package, and the flights for us both were around about £600 return. We booked them very much in advance, probably 8 or 9 months in advance, and we did notice that the price did change as the date of the holiday got closer. So if you're thinking of maybe doing a booking with regards to, you know, a package or flights separately, I'd have a look and see what works best for you. You may not be traveling around and you may be staying in the same hotel for the whole period of time, where a package holiday actually might be the right thing for you. However, if you are considering moving, just be mindful that if you book a package, that will be the hotel included for the duration of your stay. And now seems like a good time just to say thank you. Thank you for everyone who's taken the time to like the videos and comment on the videos. and also everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It's really, really appreciated, and thank you very much for doing so. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this and you like the content that I've created, please drop a subscribe. And if you've got any comments how we can make things different or make things better, more than happy to take them on board as well. So if you're not going to be booking a package, the requirement is going to be you're going to need to sort out some accommodation. So what we personally found, and again, this is just our opinion on our experience of our trips, was booking.com was for us absolutely great. It allows us the flexibility of not having to book in advance. And if your plans change, if your itinerary changes, if your movements around the country change, it just gives you that option to be quite flexible. So what we did was we probably booked our hotels for the first week or so, and then we were quite flexible in what we did with regards to booking further hotels. You can literally get on your phone, you've got your Thai sim while you're over there, and book what suits your needs. So if you decide, oh, do you know, I'm going to travel to Phuket, let's have a look. Absolutely, the availability, it's all there live. The hotels we booked didn't require payment over the app, and we paid on arrival, so it was very, very easy to do. So when we do travel back to Thailand, that's how we're going to travel again. So we're not going to be booking that package. We're going to be booking, you know, the flights through Skyscanner and getting the best package we can with regards to that. And we're going to be quite flexible with our bookings with booking.com. You know, the majority of hotels are on booking.com, and you're going to get the best price as well. And you get an overview of what you're seeing rather than just maybe tipping up at a hotel and thinking, oh, what have we got in store? You can look at the reviews, etc. So really good, really transparent with prices, and you know exactly what you're paying. So we definitely saved money by booking the flights separately to the hotels on this recent journey. So maybe that might save you a couple of quid there if that's what you're considering doing or what you're thinking. So the next point we're going to look at is actually planning ahead. Now, we've talked about being flexible on your travels, on your trip, etc. However, we found this second trip to be a lot more I would say just a lot more organised because of the planning we did. So we did our research on what we wanted to see, what we missed the last time we were in Thailand, and we tried to stick to that as best we could. So we knew what areas we wanted to go to, hence the reason why we could book our hotels, you know, while we were over there. But we actually made an itinerary of that, you know, everything we wanted to do. So be that excursions, be that the temples, be that, you know, specific locations, shopping malls. We just listed them all down and tried to put them roughly into an itinerary, which allowed us then to focus on what we wanted to see. So our first trip over, we didn't necessarily do that to the best of our ability, and we found ourselves missing a lot because once you're over there, you just get taken by the atmosphere. You know, you forget stuff that you might have seen on YouTube or read about, and you miss the opportunity to maybe see these places and go to them and travel to them. So it's a really good reference point. What I did was I just saved some notes on my phone, and that allowed me to then bring them up and say, yeah, what about, you know, say, for example, the Grand Palace in Bangkok, or what about going on the riverboat, or what about going to Icon Siam? All these pieces that, yes, they are big tourist attractions, but you might not necessarily be thinking about that while you're over there. So making an itinerary helps us save time, because we weren't waking up thinking what we're doing. And also it sort of aligned with our transport and travel, you know, with the flights, with the bookings and whatnot. So the tip there, and I think it would save you money, because you're going to go to specific places and not go around the houses trying to get to them places, is just have an itinerary. Now, we're not saying you have to go around with a clipboard saying, yes, we're going to go here, 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 and here, because that's not what you want to do on holiday. But you might say, Bangkok, we want to do A, B, C, D, and E. And if you can do that while you're there, effectively, that's going to save you time and hopefully money with regards to moving around the city. So the next point to look at, and where money's involved, this can be quite an important one we found, is food and drink. So you will hear that Thailand is massively cheap for their food, massively cheap for their drink. And do not get me wrong, compared to the UK, yes, the elements of the food are massively cheaper if you're having Thai dishes, if you're having drinks even and whatnot. But this isn't the case, for every single establishment. There's a massive array of variation and choice while you're in Thailand, no matter where you are. So for a fact, if you've been over there, if you don't necessarily enjoy Thai food as much as, say, Western food, you have the option for your McDonald's, your Burger Kings, your KFCs, etc. Just be mindful that yes, these are slightly cheaper, we found, than in the UK for using these Western outlets, but they're not at the same level of prices if you're going to, let's say, a local Thai restaurant, which absolutely makes sense. There's an element of being out there and, wanting to sample as much Thai food as you can, and that's exactly what we did. We were predominantly eating Thai food, which in the long term did save us money. However, just be mindful that if you are not a Thai food lover and you want Western food to be part of your, the daily routine with regards to maybe an English breakfast or maybe, I don't know, fish and chips or whatever it is, you may just pay that little bit extra there. And over a period of 3 weeks, that can soon mount up. So just be mindful that the food and drink, although generally is cheaper, you can, rack up, bills with regards to where you're eating and what you're eating. So the next point we're going to look at is actual accommodation. I know I touched on it when we talked about booking, using booking.com, etc. But it's about understanding what you need for your requirements. And what I mean by that is, I referenced the fact that we stayed in the Hard Rock Hotel the first time we visited Pattaya. Yes, a stunning hotel, facilities are excellent, food excellent again. However, that does come with a cost. This time, we stayed probably 200 to 300 meters away from the Hard Rock in a club called Hotel Tropicana. And this was a fraction of the price, but it did what we needed it to do. The room was clean, the room was tidy, the service was great, and it allowed us to be in the same location as the Hard Rock. So we were right on Beach Road. We had access to both Beach Road and Second Road for travel, for the BART buses. So it's not necessarily the most expensive accommodation is going to give you the best experience, because we had a great time staying in Tropicana, as we did with the Hard Rock. So it's just about weighing up what's available and what's in the local area. That's where booking.com is so good, because you can just do a search on the map and it will give you the prices pinned on the map on how much, you're looking to pay per night for that accommodation. So that was really helpful. And our experience, was probably better, if I'm being honest, in Tropicana. It wasn't so rigid. It just felt more of a holiday vibe than maybe staying away in a hotel for work or something along them lines with the Hard Rock. I'm not putting the Hard Rock down, believe me. It was a spectacular hotel. It was just the fact that if you're thinking of maybe looking at different variations on your accommodation, just make that a consideration, especially when you're doing your bookings, because £100 a night as opposed to £40 or £50 a night when you're getting a nice clean room or whatnot will make a difference over your period of your holiday, however long that might be. And the final one, guys, what I'm going to just cover off where money saving can be made is travel, transport, transfers, taxis, whatever it may be. So depending on where you go in Thailand, there's going to be different ways to travel around. You've always going to have your Bolt and your Grab, unless you're on one of the islands that don't have that access, such as Koh Samet, for example. Depending on where you go will be key to how you travel around. So if I say Pattaya, the BART buses in Pattaya are just out of this world. They're amazing. They literally run on a loop around Beach Road, Second Road, and just keep looping. Now, you do have to get out. That won't allow you just to keep going around the loop. They do say, right, can you get out? But you can jump on another one straight away and then continue around. So that gives you access to all of Beach Road, all from one end, all the way up to Walking Street, and then around Second Road, all the way down to Terminal 21 shopping mall. That is really, really helpful for the key tourist elements to get to in Pattaya. Believe me, you think, oh, I'm going to walk up Beach Road and then I'm going to walk down Second Road. It's lovely and it's really nice taking in them walks. And we did them walks. But sometimes the old legs might need a little bit of a break. And certainly with us, a BART bus going past and the fact we could just flag that BART bus down, pull over, you get into the back, and if you've not seen one of my previous clips, a BART bus is basically a pickup truck with steps to allow you to get in the back and sit in the back. Comfortable, undercover, no problems whatsoever. We normally give them 20 baht per person, which is quite cheap, you know, in the bigger scheme of things. When you think 100 baht's £2.20 or what it is now with the exchange rate. But that BART bus, you know, especially when it's really hot and you're tired and maybe hungover from the night before, is an absolute godsend when it comes to it. So Pattaya has your BART buses as well as your Bolt, and also there's taxis available as well. There's bike taxis, car taxis, but if you're looking to maybe focus on Beach Road and Second Road, the BART buses are the way to go. Different parts, obviously, will have different methods. So lots and lots of tuk-tuks when you're in Bangkok. Now, the tuk-tuks are a great way to move around. We've used them. We did have trouble with one tuk-tuk where we agreed a price prior to actually the travel, and when we arrived, that price was hiked up by around about 50% on top because he said they were stuck in traffic and that took more of their time. So our experience of tuk-tuks, you know, has been probably positive in the long run, but just be mindful and just agree a price before you actually move anywhere. And there's meter taxis, there's non-meter taxis. All I would say is if you're going to be traveling around in any of them taxis, or in fact anything outside of Grab and Bolt, just agree that price with the driver beforehand. We've had no problems in the whole time we've been out there, except for that one event with the tuk-tuk driver. And granted, yes, we were stuck in traffic for a long time, which meant, you know, he couldn't get other fares. So I do get it. We did pay the money in the end and it was fine, but just be mindful of that. Also, with regards to travel, if you're traveling internally around the country, say from Bangkok to Phuket or whatnot, you've got the option to do flights, you've got the option to do overnight buses. So just do a little bit of research into what the prices are and what's available. Because for me, time is very important when you're on holiday. You know, when you can fly to Phuket from Bangkok in an hour and maybe 15, an hour and 20, or you can get an overnight bus. There's pros and cons with each. Obviously, if you're in a bus overnight, you're not paying for accommodation, and it's substantially cheaper than getting that flight. But the ease of the internal flights, which you will have seen on a previous video of mine, was just amazing. Not like international transfers. It's all just well organised, slick, very quickly through security and just onto the plane. And it was really, really comfortable. So just consider your options, do a little bit of research with regards to what the costs are. And one thing we really, you know, found beneficial this time in Bangkok was utilising the public transport network. The BTS SkyTrain and the MRT Metro were amazing. It can be a little bit daunting, and it was daunting for us because it's bad enough in the UK, for example, if you're going on the London Underground and you're not familiar with the layout, the way things are and the location. However, everyone was so friendly. It was really helpful. Where we wanted to go for our final destination, we just said that to the ticket people, and they sorted us out and told us exactly where to go, where to change. So from our hotel, we went to the Grand Palace, we went to Chatterjee Market, We went to Chinatown, and we were I can't remember the individual locations for them, but all you would need to do is go into the the ticket area where they sell the tickets and have a chat with one of the customer service people there, and they will help you out. Everyone was so friendly. Very, very cheap again. We were talking 60, 70 baht per person for quite a distance travelled on the, let's say on the MRT. So I'd say probably around £1.30 per person. And again, not only is this saving you money, this will save time, because with the best will in the world, the rush hour traffic in Bangkok is, as you would imagine, a nightmare. And you can be doing a half an hour journey, which takes you over an hour and a half in a taxi, which we did as well. So not only is this a time related saving, it's the cost related saving. And you know what? It was quite an experience to be on the SkyTrain and the metro in moving around Bangkok. Again, really friendly people asking us if we wanted to sit down, etc. Just a really nice experience. But it did definitely save us money from jumping in a taxi, which was, I don't know, maybe £3, £4 each trip, to bringing that down to £1 a trip. It did make a difference. And finally, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you've watched it all the way through to the end, that's absolutely great. Thank you so much. Just want to put across the fact again, I'm giving these tips out of my personal experiences. This is not going to be the same for everyone. I understand that different people have different budgets, they have different itineraries, they have different, places they want to visit. Totally understand this. I am just trying to give an overview of my experience and where I know we will be able to save money if we were to travel again to the locations that we've been to. So I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying just consider it with regards to time, cost, etc. And you might have noticed a slight change in the channel name. So we started the channel as Stubbsy Travels Thailand. We've now changed that to Stubbsy Travels, with Thailand dropping into its own playlist. There's lots more adventures to come. There's lots more places to visit, and there's lots more videos to create. So if you've stuck with me on the journey so far, thank you very much. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you've got any comments, guys, whatever it might be, just drop them down below, and I'll try to respond to everyone and give an honest answer on what we've done. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.